Please introduce yourself and let's give the listeners a brief backstory onto how you got where you are and any standout achievements you'd like to express.
So my name's Kat Valentine. I'm the manager of the MakerSpace at Pennsylvania College of Technology. Makerspaces are a kind of a new concept. Not everyone is really familiar with what they are. They've been around for about 20 years is when they really first started taking off. It's basically a space where all kinds of equipment is collected and is available for people to use. So some makerspaces will just have like a 3D printer and a laser cutter and a vinyl cutter. Ours has everything from sewing machines to welding equipment, so they can be very, very adaptable to the environment they serve, the kind of people that they're serving. But the basic idea is a lot of equipment available. We help train people on using it. In my case, we also provide free supplies for our students. So the idea being that you can walk in with an idea, we get you the training and provide the equipment availability that you need, and you can walk out with a finished product based on your ideas. So that's kind of the vision of makerspaces. I've been working in the makerspace world for about 8 or 9 years now. I've been at my current position about 4 years. Before that, I was at a makerspace in a public library in Wisconsin, actually. If you're ever in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, check out the Idea Studio Makerspace. It's fabulous. So makerspaces have kind of been my life for almost a decade now. Most people who end up in makerspace work come from a very eclectic background. So you need someone who's a generalist rather than a specialist. You need to know a lot about a whole bunch of different things. You don't need to be expert at any one thing. So in my case, I spent most of my, like, way too long bouncing around trying to figure out what I was supposed to be when I grew up. Trying something that's not quite right, trying something else that's not quite right. So I have a very eclectic resume. And when I found makerspace work, it's like, oh, that's what I'm supposed to do when I grew up. So for me, it was a perfect fit. You need someone who's got a wide range of skills, but doesn't really focus like exclusively on one particular field. I mean, you need to know, a wide range of crafts. You need to know basic safety stuff. You have to know basic first aid. You have to have administrative skills. You have to have people skills. It's a very diverse portfolio that you need to be really good at makerspaces. And for me, it was a perfect fit. So I love what I do. The makerspace I'm at right now at Penn College, we serve the students, faculty, and staff of our college. You do not have to be in a particular major to be in here. You can be, if you are in the Penn College community, you are welcome and invited into our makerspace, which makes it a really cool place. It's a gathering place for the campus. It's a chance to meet people who are in different fields and different buildings you don't really cross paths with as much. So makerspaces are a fabulous thing, and I love working in.
So you've shared with me your passion for them for as long as you've worked in them. So I'd like to touch on our talk a few months ago. You and I had a very productive talk a few months ago that I actually have used as a basis for trying to get ours at Lafayette back off the ground. One example that stuck with me is having taught a culinary major with almost no mechanical aptitude how to weld. So this is one example of your many achievements. Please, can you elaborate on that one a little bit more? And you also pointed out, you call it the swag crawl.
Mhm.
So I'd like you to touch on that and elaborate on that for people and how it was successful for Penn College.
Yeah. So one of the coolest things about Makerspace, one thing that I love about it is a place where your background does not matter. We start wherever you are with whatever skill set you have, and we will get you whatever skills you're interested in developing. So where I work right now, Pennsylvania College of Technology, we are a tech school. We have welding majors, culinary majors, construction majors, automotive. I speak English. Automotive majors. And when you're in that one major, you have access to those labs, but you don't have access to the other labs. So a welding student doesn't have access to the construction area. Construction student doesn't have access to the 3D printing areas. So in the makerspace, anyone can come in and learn anything they want to do. And my staff and I work very hard at trying to be as approachable and non-intimidating a space as possible. So one of the highlights of the time I've been here is we had a culinary student in the baking and pastry arts major who wanted to learn how to weld so that they could make custom cake stands for a cake business that they wanted to start, which was awesome.
Yeah.
We'll start where you are. It's always one of the things that I love about my job is watching people watching people grow and develop. I mean, this person was a really good baker. They were an intelligent person, had never done anything very hands-on. Welding is particularly Like when I was first learning to weld, it is terrifying. Like you're dealing with high voltage electricity, extremely hot things, very bright lights. And like when you put the welding hood on and you start the arc and your helmet darkens, you can see this much of your world. And
Yep.
like it's very disorienting the first time. So I had a fabulous welding trainer who just like worked patiently with them, started where they are, gave them whatever time they needed to get the skills that they needed. And all this person needed to do was to be committed to learning the project. We would help them get the rest of the way from there. We've had some people come in with great ideas who then get distracted or bored or that's too much work and wander off. But if you are willing to stay with it, we will get you the skills you need to develop whatever abilities you're looking for. And that is one of the reasons I come to work every day. Like I love the fact that we are enabling and empowering people, giving them new skills, helping them discover talents that they didn't know that they had. So it's a really fun, empowering kind of a situation to be in. Um, another thing that makes this part of the Makerspace work so much fun. So in a college, if you're teaching an official class, it's kind of a toss up whether your students actually want to be in that class or not, right? This could be the
Yes.
required English class that they have to be in, or I like this class, but this part's stupid. The Makerspace, people come here because they want to be here. It is not a requirement. They're here because they're interested and because they love it. And because of that, there's a very different energy in here than you get in a formal classroom setting. So if someone is not interested in something, they stop working on it and they do something else instead. If they're not interested at all, they don't even come in the door. So it tends to be very, vibrant, passion-driven, creative, inspiring kind of space. We actually have some students who will come in here just to hang out or to do their homework just because they like the vibe of the space. So it's a lot of strange niches we ended up filling out. So like, for instance, the library is where you go when you need quiet to study. Some people don't focus well in too quiet environments. People who go to coffee shops. We are the not quiet study environment because it's never quiet in the makerspace. So yeah, so it's a place where your background doesn't matter. It's also because this is the only place on our campus where all of this equipment is in the same place. So it became an amazing like cross-pollination space where so like the welding labs, you can do welding, and the construction labs, you can do woodwork. What if you have a project that needs both of those and vinyl cutting and 3D printing? For instance, last year we had a guy, this is the most epic project I have seen come out of the Makerspace yet. He built a pinball machine completely from scratch.
Yes, you did tell me this one.
It was epic. He built the case, he designed the layout, he did the wiring, he 3D printed the little flipper. Like the entire thing was made in the Makerspace because all the equipment is in one space. Also, all the expertise is in one space. So we had about a year and a half ago a machining student who wanted to build a remote controlled boat. I mean, he could do the machining. He'd never done woodworking. He'd never done electronics. In this space, he knew he could find all the expertise he needed to help him through what he didn't know to get from what he did know to what he was trying to achieve. So they're really vibrant, fun, never boring, very creative kinds of spaces. It's also extremely important, at least for me. This is a pet peeve of mine. I'm gonna get on the hobby horse for a while here, so be warned. It's extremely important with me when we are training our students. I've worked at and interacted with makerspaces before where it seems like when you're doing safety training that the mindset is I'm trying to stop you from breaking things and hurting yourself. I teach my staff, we start from a position of trust. Our mindset is we are enabling you to do what we trust you already want to do, which is to not break things and not hurt yourself. So I'm not trying to stop you catching things on fire. I'm
Yes.
empowering you with the skills to do what I trust you already want to do, which is to not set things on fire. There are a couple students, there have been times like you can persuade me to abandon that position of trust. There are people who just want to get the job done and don't care what it does to the equipment. Like you can persuade me that you do want to break things, but I
Yes.
will not start there. So we always start from a position like we trust you and we are enabling you to do what I trust you already want to do, which is to be safe, productive, useful use of the space. And that I think also affects the atmosphere, the ambiance in the space. Like we're not trying to stop you from catching yourself on fire. We are giving you the power to understand how the equipment works. And by the way, here's how not to catch yourself on fire as part of the process. I was actually looking at the user agreement of another makerspace, just kind of seeing if I'd missed anything on ours. And one of the things that the users had to agree to was do not catch fire. Right, because that's what I come to the Makerspace to do, hoping that I will go up in flames as part of my visit there, right?
It's kind of sad that they have to cover that, but
I assume for them that was the easiest, shortest way to say don't do stupid stuff. But it like just the wording has become like kind of a catchphrase with me and my staff's like, right, don't catch yourself
don't catch on fire. Oh my goodness. So to backtrack, kind of unrelated, what brought you from Wisconsin to Pennsylvania?
So in addition to being someone who's like mostly because I've spent my life bouncing from one career to the next, I've moved around a lot.
Okay.
So Pennsylvania is actually the 11th state I've lived in.
Whoa.
I'm telling you, I'm done. I'm tired. So my job at the Makerspace in Wisconsin was only part-time. I was looking for a full-time Makerspace job, and I prefer to live in small towns, which very much limited because most, good quality Makerspaces tend to be with a larger population in a larger town, big cities. That's not my happiest spot. So when I found this one here, Williamsport, Pennsylvania is a nice small town. It's got a very comfortable, pleasant feel. There's a 10,000 acre forest out in our backyard. Like this is the kind of place I want to be. So that's why I ended up with this job in particular. It was full time. It was in a place that looked like I wanted to be. So here I am, and I've loved it for the 4 years I've been here.
I grew up in a small town a little bit north of you, just on the New York state line. And I have to say, my years at Penn College, I would trade anything to go back. Williamsport just has a certain charm.
Yes, and I like the Penn College because it's a smaller school. You don't
Yeah.
get lost in the shuffle as much. Like I know the names of most of our regulars. I can identify by sight at least a quarter of the student body. Like you don't get that kind of personalness. What's the word I'm looking for?
Personal touch.
There you go. In a larger town, larger institution. So I consciously choose smaller towns, smaller institutions, just because I like the more intimate, more hands-on kind of approach to things. That's just where I'm happiest.
Excellent. So the second part of that question was the swag crawl. So you gave me a very in-depth um, dive into how Penn College and yourself, big tip of the hat to you on this, is they got everybody to every part of campus. And you had explained to me that originally when you guys got off the ground, the makerspace was kind of a kept secret. It was kind of hidden because you were given a location in the bottom of a building somewhere on campus. Is that correct?
We our nickname for it was that we're on the hallway to nowhere. So it's just a random hallway that literally goes nowhere and then stops. And we're just off it. There were no windows between us and the hallway, just like random door. Hi, makerspace. Do you know what that is? Cool, come on in. So and with the Penn College Makerspace started in 2018. I got there in 2021. So it had only been around for a couple years. It was in the middle of nowhere. Makerspaces are still kind of not a catchphrase, especially in small town rural Pennsylvania. No one quite knew what it was. So huge kudos to our Office of Student Engagement. They came up with this idea they called the swag crawl. So the week before school starts, those couple of days before the fall semester starts, new students only are on campus, and they call it Welcome Week. So they had one of the events on Welcome Week be what they called the swag crawl. So they picked, I think it was a dozen locations on campus that they want all students to know about. So like College Health Services, the tutoring center, the writing center, things like that, things that you need to know to be a successful student. And they had each place on that route get a box full of Penn College swag. So we 3D printed a bunch of keychains with our Wildcat logo on it. Just like this vat of them. And the new students had this punch card and they went around to all the places and got a little gift. And if they went to all the places and got their punch card, then they got entered in a drawing for a prize. And it was absolutely brilliant because it was a chance that, we sometimes try to like convince people to do what we want them to do. In this case, our Office of Student Engagement found a way to make it what they would want to do also. So we gave them a reason to do what we already wanted them to do. So by the time school started, all of the new students had been to these 12 locations, physically knew where they were, had walked in the door, and you could give them like a 2-second sales pitch of like, here's what we are, here's what we provide for you, here's your little trinket, go on to the next place. So for us, that was a game changer. Like that was when we stopped being the best kept secret on campus. I was also massively flattered that they picked the Makerspace as one of the 12 locations on campus that all students should know where is. Like that was just this huge like testament of yes, we're doing the work that we should be doing here. Like, yes, you need to know where the tutoring center is, you need to know where the library is, you need to know where the health services is, and the Makerspace. Like being on that list was just amazing. So huge props to them for thinking of that idea. And it has been a game changer for us because now we have a reason why the students want to do what we already want them to do. And it makes it just so much easier. So yeah, that was a fabulous event that they came up with.
Excellent. A three-part question to end today. This is going to take a little bit of time, so I do hope you have a few minutes for us. First, you've touched on all the big accomplishments you had so far. My question for you and for everybody to hear is, what does the future hold for Penn College's Makerspace? Do you have a way to touch on that?
Yeah, so there's a number of things that we're trying to achieve. So one thing I actually learned this at my previous Makerspace, is that the kinds of equipment and programs and events that you offer massively affects who feels at home in your Makerspace, who feels like this place is for them. So at my previous Makerspace in a public library, we added a recording studio. And suddenly, young Black males were coming to the library to use the Makerspace's recording studio. That was not a group we had hit before.
Yeah.
And just like adding that one thing changed the demographics that felt like this space was for them and empowered them. And like they would come in to record their songs, and while they were there, it's like, oh, I can make custom shirts for my band, and I can make this, and I can make that. And it got the equipment that you have gets different people in the door. And then once they're in the door, they can see things that they didn't know about before. So we've noticed, so Penn College is it's a tech school. It's a very male heavy demographic to start with.
Yes.
But even with that weighting, our Makerspace is very, very, very tilted towards, we have a very male, most of our regulars are male, most of our standard visitors are male, only a few actually women come into the space. And a handful of gender non-binaries. Okay. So we've been looking for ways by changing what our equipment offering is to try to skew that a little bit so that more people who are not already in our group of regulars come walk in and feel like, yes, I belong in this space. This is not just for construction people. This is for someone who wants to make stained glass or pottery or whatever it is. We're currently maxed out on space right now. So we're trying to figure out creative ways to either compress some of our current offerings or rearrange things or maybe annex some space that no one's paying attention to, so we can expand a little bit so we can be provide more for a broader range of campus. One thing we're currently working on is an AV lab, so recording and editing audio and video. There's not currently a space on campus that makes that available for students. More teachers are having like video assignments, things like that. And more students are doing that just as a hobby. And that is a demographic that I think we're not reaching right now. So that's something we're currently working to see if we can find a space for that. We would like to add pottery and stained glass in particular. So that's kind of, one of the directions we're heading is, okay, who is not here? What can we provide that will make them feel more welcome here? Another thing that we're working hard on is helping our users to be more autonomous. So one of the challenges a lot of makerspaces face, there's all this stuff in here. No one except my staff knows how to use all the things in the space. So you get in a situation where someone comes in, hey, I want to make this project, and then they're tied to a staff member that has to like spoon feed them every step along the way. Here's how you do this. Okay, don't right click on that, pull that menu down. So we're working on more robust how-to guides, basically. We currently have like handouts on most basic processes. We've talked about doing like online videos. So like a QR code on the equipment, scan this code, it pops up a video, how to do some basic processes. So we're working on empowering our users to be more autonomous and also reaching out to a wider group. Those are kind of the two main spearheads that we're working on right now.
Very cool. So to bring in your expertise, what can aspiring makerspaces, if there's one that's smaller or trying to get off the ground, what do you think they could do to take the next step to be on the same level as yourself?
Yeah, so there's a number of things. So my full-time staff and I every year try to visit at least one other makerspace that we haven't been to before. So going to other spaces, see what they're doing, chat with them like, hey, what works, what doesn't, what would you wish you would do differently? Just like collect different ideas, different perspectives, different inputs. Has been very, very beneficial for us. Sometimes you visit another space and say, you're doing that differently, but the way I'm doing it, yes, that works for my space. This works for your space, but you'll also get ideas you would never have thought of otherwise. So taking the time to like have a staff day where you go and visit some other space, talk to those people has been really, really huge for us. Another thing is you need to figure out how to convince people that you matter, which makerspaces are not cheap toys. They are very expensive.
They are.
You need to get the people with money to believe that what you're doing matters and that investing in you is going to be a powerful and empowering investment in the community and in the people around it. So I keep numbers and stories because that's what people like to hear. So door count. For the last 3 years, our door count has gone up almost 20% every year. When I show that number to people, that looks really good. I
Yes.
also stories like my teaching the culinary major to weld. So I'm showing like hands-on, here is one person whose life was impacted by what we have to offer. So those are the things that I found most helpful to convince donors that yes, you're something they want to back. Is like usage numbers. Pictures are also good, like the space looking crowded is very good. And also stories to give it the human touch. Like this is something that changes people's lives. And for us, as our space has grown a lot, and having those things has helped me get the funding that we need to keep going, to keep our inertia going, which has been a fabulous thing. Penn College has supported us wonderfully. It's been amazing. And I think those things have been key to helping that momentum keep going.
Thank you. Now, with your successful model, because Penn College is such a big place in my heart, I'd be open to do a shameless plug for your lab. Would you be open to, if I were to share the information on how to contact Makerspace or contact you, would you be open to speaking with others and seeing if you can help them?
Absolutely. If you haven't noticed, I'm kind of passionate about makerspaces. So
Yes. So from all our talks,
always happy to talk about them.
all
Yes.
right.
Do you want me to
Well,
give my email address? Like what would be most helpful?
so is it the one that I've been talking to you with? Is that a good one to get a hold of you?
That's my work
Okay.
email, the best way to get a hold of me.
And on the college website, the phone number and everything that I've used is another good way.
Yep, that definitely works.
Kat, again, Cutting Tool Engineering and I cannot thank you enough for all your time. This has been excellent. I think getting your name out, getting your model out there, and um, advocating for the next generation is the way I think we are going to go. I'm looking forward to talking to you again in the future.
Good deal. I appreciate your time. As mentioned, I'm passionate about this and love to talk about it at any time.
Thank you, Kat. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
You also have a good one.